it's happening in New York, New Jersey, or Long Island. Hear about it with Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
Jersey Joe on the radio, and as usual, these Tuesdays are just wild. You know, we got everybody coming in, coming out. David Burke bringing the best cuisine and just trying to tackle all the issues of the day. Kay Hymowitz, as a City Journal contributing editor, the William E. Simon Fellow at the Manhattan Institute, and the author of Marriage and Caste. Is that right? Is that
Marriage and Caste?
Yeah, Caste and Marriage and Caste in America: Separate and Unequal Families in a Post-Marital Age. Does it bother you? Okay, first of all, welcome. How are you?
Thank you.
Wait, does it bother you that when they say you're a fellow at the Manhattan Institute? I mean, really, in this Me Too movement, shouldn't we say you're a gal there?
You know what? You're giving me ideas.
Yeah, come on. I would say William Simon, gal, and Marriage and Caste in America: Separate and Unequal Families in a Post-Marital Age. Give us your analysis with this. And you're a woman, and thank goodness for that, because you know what I feel, and I've been saying it on the air for the last few days. We could say what we feel as guys, but I don't know that we have credibility. I'm a father of 3 daughters. I always say this, and I'm sensitive to and appreciative of the Me Too movement because of my 3 daughters, and always respecting my mom. My mom didn't need a Me Too movement. Mm-hmm. She laid down the edict. She was the boss. She made it out of Newark with 10 kids with no money. People that coming from another country, her parents did. Boom. She didn't need a Me Too movement. I guess you need it now. As a woman, what are you thinking about this whole Kavanaugh thing with this Me Too movement?
Well, I don't think it reflects very well on the Me Too movement because there are so many precedents that we're setting that we're going to be very sorry about. In fact, women are going to be very sorry about. One of those precedents is that you can kill somebody or kill their reputation at any rate by simple accusation. The way that the Supreme Court is set up, rather the way the Judiciary Committee is set up, we don't have due process there. So we're watching the slow torture of a man who may or may not deserve it, and it's a terrible injustice. So that's one precedent. The other one is we have always looked at juvenile crime as different than adult crime. If this happened when Kavanaugh was 17, then we are looking at something done by a minor, and that requires a different level of evidence, a different level of punishment and thinking about it. And I think that that's been lost. Instead, what I hear from the Me Too movement is, they keep saying boys will be boys. That's certainly not what I'm saying, and I think what a lot of people are trying to say is, this is different. He was 17.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point, Kay, like that. And how do we possibly know if Dr. Ford's story is true indeed?
Well, in fact, we can't know. And, I'm not against the idea of more investigation, but I really think it's so unlikely we're going to find anything out. We're 36 years later. Nobody seems to remember this party, including Christine Ford, who doesn't remember where it was or the date. How are we supposed to investigate something like that?
Yeah. Then there's another gal that comes out, another one that came out, and it goes in the New Yorker, and then the New York Times goes, no, not credible enough because we investigated it, and it's not credible enough. I thought, I didn't know if that had something to do with this Rosenstein New York Times story, or I don't know. Sometimes I think we're being played by the media, But if the New York Times isn't going to run something that's anti-Trump, then just to throw it out. And I hesitate, I don't want to use his name, but just I have to do it for reference. This Avenatti thing. He's living off of this horrible situation in America. He's looking for business and publicity on this.
Absolutely.
Can someone just say, like what's her name? Senator Harmona said to this guy, there's a guy that should shut up and sit down.
Really. Really. I don't think the Democrats are really all that happy that Avenatti has come forward at this point.
Yeah.
Because they kind of know how it looks. And I think that the new charge of the Ramirez that happened supposedly at Yale is actually not panning out the way I would have thought. Instead of confirming the intuition that most people had that, well, maybe this was true, this Ford allegation was true, are now saying, wait a minute, what's going on here? It begins to feel like dirty tricks. And I know that I consider myself kind of center right. If I have no friends, by the way.
In New York, it ain't easy. I know.
But
I think the country's center right. I got news for
well,
you.
that may be true. And I was kind of thinking, well, yeah, we should investigate. But now I think, wait a minute, this is like dirty tricks. I don't trust any of it.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think it's hardening people's positions. In a way that the New Yorker maybe didn't intend to do.
Kay Hymowitz, City Journal contributing editor, William E. Simon, gal at the Manhattan Institute. There it is. Marriage and Caste. Tell us about the separate and unequal families in a post-marital age. I feel so guilty, Kay. Well, I'm going to let you go, and we appreciate you coming in, but I feel guilty because, I'm one of those just failed relationship guys. Although the marriages have been 15 years and then 17 years, but then I have more children, so now my other children have to meet my other children, and it's like I gotta my joke is I have a child at every exit of New Jersey. I gotta put their number of the exit in the back. 117, don't you? You know one. But what is that bad for the country? And I feel, and there is a guilt that I have that my parents stayed together for like almost 50 years with the nuclear family, and it made the country strong. And we seemed, and there weren't, and I'm going to be dramatic here, but there weren't mass shootings and things like that. Yeah. Maybe all of this, or dopes like me that go out and you do one and then you go again and you meet somebody else. Does that like weaken the country at all, do you think?
Well, you've put me in a very difficult position.
Well, please be honest. We're always organically honest on this show.
Okay. So just to look at the research that we have on what happens to kids from homes like yours.
Yeah.
They're not doomed by any means, and most of them will go on and be fine.
Thank you.
But statistically, if you look at the whole country and you have a growing number of people who are growing up in more turbulent circumstances, yes, those children on average don't do as well. So I do believe it's been bad for the country. There are advantages to having a softer marriage regime that I don't need to go into. But
regime, I like.
But there's no question it hasn't been great for kids.
Yeah.
So
I think that's why.
reality.
Thank you for saying that. I'm gonna have to steal this audio from this interview because this is why I'm so dedicated to my children. It's not guilt. It's just my responsibility as a man,
Absolutely.
as a father, to make sure I stay. Because I blame no one but myself. Walking into a situation, another situation, and how patient my children are with some of what you think they're mistakes, but then the kids are blessings. So you have to, but you do in that situation. If it is, as you say, and you put it so astutely here, separate and unequal families in the post-marital age, you have to spend more time with the children. Wouldn't you suggest to do that as a parent in this situation?
Right, absolutely. When I say unequal families, what I'm really talking about here, though, is that if you really look at the results for kids, you begin to understand something about inequality in the country, something about low mobility, that is, people not moving up the income ladder.
Yeah.
Because the kids who are growing up in turbulent and single-parent homes just don't do as well on average. For we could go into the research, but I don't have time. Just that is where the research points, and that we have had a tremendous increase over the last decades in the number of kids growing up in that circumstance.
I feel guilty. I have to go to confession now. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. Whoa, great, fascinating. And thank you. Kay Hymowitz, City Journal contributing editor, William E. Simon, fellow, they have to change it to gal, at the Manhattan Institute, author of the book, Marriage and Caste in America, Separate and Unequal Families in a Post-Marital Age. That is vital reading, I would say, Kay. Well done. And thank you for coming in. Nice to see you. Piscopo, the morning.
Everybody knows this guy. No, everybody knows he can do a radio show. Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.